My dude. Now we're good to go.
Oh boy. Cheers.
Cheers, my guy. Yeah. With water.
With water.
Well, usually I have like a beer with me while I'm doing this, and I didn't have one for you. I'm not having one for you.
That's all good.
So it's different. I feel like I'm sober doing this. I should get in the habit of doing it more because not that I'm sloshed when I'm doing it with other people, but I like to have like a little buzz.
Yeah.
And I'm like, confidence, but then I forget things. So when I was sober, listening to you, I was like, okay, yeah, this is going well. Thanks, Zach.
Hey, if it's weird too, like usually I am just stoned out of my fucking tree when I'm running stuff, and I just realize I haven't had a hoot all day, so this is
a new experience.
Yeah, it's new everywhere.
All right, Nathaniel, tell everybody about yourself and what you do and why you're here.
Well, I do a lot of things depending on when you get me. I'm in Edmonton right now because I just finished playing a gig with Crimson Caliber at the Rendezvous with Brainstem, Tales of Yardle, Atracel, and Doomsday Grin.
I always butcher it too.
Doomsday Grin.
Nice.
And actually, what was really cool, I walked in there and I didn't realize Doomsday Grin is my buddy Dave Worm's new project that he's been a part of for 5 years.
Oh,
and I know him from Crowdsphere back in the day because I ran sound for a show back in Medicine Hat. I've crashed at Dave's house numerous times when Oath would come play here back in the day. So It was really cool walking in, setting stuff up, and then he just walks out like, "Hey!" And I'm like, "Oh shit!" And then later on, he's like, "I didn't even realize you were playing today. It just totally clicked that you're actually in Caliber." I'm like, "Yeah,
yeah."
So
for some people, they probably don't even like. They've gone through a couple drummers though, right?
I would be their fourth drummer.
Okay,
yes.
so a few.
Yeah,
Wow.
fourth drummer. They had Sean, then Drayden, then Benny, then me.
Mm-hmm.
And I just came in as a fill-in originally.
Yeah. Look at you now.
Yeah, this happened with both bands now that I'm in, apparently.
Full time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you're in a couple different projects, right?
I am in Balrogoth. Depending on when this comes out, I'm also in another band that I'm gonna be very gentle in what I say because I still have to meet with the main dude tomorrow to even talk about it.
Gotcha.
But if you guys know about certain punk bands in the Alberta scene and certain ones that maybe like to have very cool moments, you might know who I'm talking about. They're a solid group of people. And then I also recently joined Balrogoth. This be 2 months ago. Another one of those situations where I got a call to be a fill-in and then play a few shows like, hey, we like you.
Yeah.
You want to stick around? And then a project you helped me out with once, which is now just a studio project until things happen. No Hope for the Lost.
Yeah.
So do a lot of fun things.
And those like songs that we played, like there was a couple that definitely stuck out to me at Loud as Hell in 2021.
2021.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my God, damn. Yeah.
those songs are you still planning on doing something with that studio
I want
project?
to release that EP that those two tracks are on. They're probably gonna have different names. I have a few other tracks that I had done with. I don't know if I showed them to you, but I had a collab group with a bunch of musicians that are based out of the UK. One of them's in the States. One of them actually was the main songwriter for Prism Lens. And so there's about 2 to 5 tracks that I've done with them that I've gotten permission to bring into No Hope, but I need the files, and I don't know if we have those anymore. So I'm hoping at some point, maybe either 2-track or 3 or 4-track EP at some point, just get that out, get those songs out there released, because I hate sitting on songs. I wanted them released a year ago at this point, but life happens.
Totally.
And I don't know, they were a lot of fun. What was known as Felina and Crawl Space, where I felt were like really tool evolutionary tracks based off like what Ray and I had done prior to that with the Pilgrimage, which was ironically either old Raising the Ruins Renzukin shit, with you Yevon being an old song called Big Leagues back in the day when Colton and I did dual vocals, and my buddy Cesar was the vocalist, or not the vocalist, the guitarist. And then Jekt and Braska actually used to be, or actually one song called The Painted World on my really shitty full-length solo album that I did in 2019. And then we revamped them, turned it into 2 different songs. And
nice.
It's cool seeing what Ray did to contribute to those to help, I feel, hit their final form. Because a lot of them were close, but they needed those final steps. And then those other songs I want to get down just because, for writing those in 8 hours each with Ray during song challenges and being like, yeah,
Totally.
these are fucking killer. I want more of that.
It was so cool too because it was like themed in so many different ways, like the PlayStation like logo setup, and then like your guys' music video. It's kind of like it's super edgy,
Oh,
but
yeah.
like your outfits and that. I was like, there's a theme behind this. And
Oh, yeah.
I like this a lot. Like
Going straight into that fantasy approach, being like, yeah, we're not a fantasy band, but I mean, we talk about a lot of different shit. Like the Pilgrimage is a Final Fantasy X concept EP,
Yeah.
so like we had to lean into that just a bit, and then Felina and Crawlspace, if people are recognizing the names, they are also episode titles of very poignant episodes in Breaking Bad, which was what that EP was eventually going to evolve into. It was going to be a 5-track concept EP, each with a different theme from a penultimate episode in each season of Breaking Bad and breaking it down. Obviously, we chose Felina over Ozymandias for the 5th one because I'm sorry, Hank getting fucked over at the end, that was so, like it was fun watching everything topple down, but there's something about the finale that just, there's so much symmetry in just how everything came together and be like, this is great. Just the idea of being able to like, removing from the character, but on the song aspect, being able to like, yeah, I'm a fuck it, play the villain for the last bit, because that's what Walt does in that final episode. Is he really leans into the persona that he's created to try to end everything, like from going to his old business partners at Gray Matter and having two junkies just use fucking laser pointers to make him think like, oh yeah, no, I got shooters on you at all times. So if you don't do this thing for my son that I want you to do, they're gonna take you out. Leave. Okay, sweet, cool. Like no one's gonna come after them, but I'm glad we got that taken care of. And also like the Scarface machine gun ending. Like just that entire rig, him taking a bullet to save Jesse when he went in with the intent of killing everyone. Like it was there's a lot in that.
Do you think he knew he was done before that point?
Oh, definitely. Like I think the premise is Walt knows his cancer is going to take him out, and this is his last chance to, if not make good on what he's done, at least put a close to it and end it his way, which I think for the character of Walter White, as flawed as he is and as evil and vile as he is, if you're watching his arc, that was the main thing, is he never truly went out on his terms with the things that he felt very slighted by as a character, going into like the psychopathy of Walter White as a character.
The episode with Jesse's girlfriend
Jane. Oh God,
it's horrifying.
It is so
the first time.
It's heartbreaking every time. Like on one hand, you can be like, oh yeah, so they're gonna play him, steal the money, fuck off. But also on the other end, it's like you just had to roll her over. All you had to do is.
But he knew that was a distraction.
Yeah, it's a way to keep leverage. It was a leverage thing, which, again, as much as we talk about the character, it's not in a praising of individuals like that. It's understanding that psychopathy and like what led this person to be this kind of a manipulator.
Right. Yeah.
Here we go. Brand number 1.
Yeah. Little off topic, but like it kind of ties in because you had a.
Oh, full concept. Nate Trash constantly made jokes at me with it too, being like, "Oh, so you're gonna write a Breaking Bad concept EP and you've never done meth?" It's like, it's just a part of it, man. Like that is literally just a part of it.
You have no idea.
There is so much on the psychological aspect of this show.
I earned this.
But
yeah, exactly.
Again, the songs though were really fun. Writing them was fun. Performing them with you and Swan and Ray was a lot of fun. I'm hoping maybe one day that'll get out of the studio again. But also, it's nice feeling fulfilled and playing music with a bunch of different people that maybe wouldn't be what you would catch me writing on my own or listening on my own. But because the people are fucking solid and they're fun to be with, I have no problem being like, oh yeah, sure, I'm drumming a thrash band.
Totally.
Fuck it.
Totally. And like, I felt like a big reason of why a lot of those songs didn't get released like last year or the year before is just because like I see the effort you put into things. You joined Crimson. You were doing all that mix for Alt Waves last year. Like that takes time. That's a lot of effort.
And we're doing this year's comp, and I'm only on the Saturday rough mixes right now. Like I still have to. I have 10 bands that I have to finish. I think I'm on Bodies of Everest right now because I'm starting bottom to top. Like the last band I'm going to be doing is Plaguebringer because Well, that was a nice little treat to have them last minute on my stage.
Yeah, nice.
That was a nice.
Oh, they played your stage.
Yeah, so there was a new bylaw that came into place in Medicine Hat that we didn't know about.
Oh, okay.
So we had to have sound outside shut off by a certain point, and none of us are aware of it. Half of the organizers for the festival don't live in that
Did
city
they come
anymore.
during?
Oh yeah, the cops showed up and they're like,
Oh.
we had shut it down. So I had wrapped up my set. Alien to the Ignorant had just wrapped up. They were my headliners, and I had everything. My computers were already like almost off.
Yeah.
Everything. I was about to actually go back and start packing my shit to make my life a bit easier the following day. And then I see Keith kind of having a few conversations, looking stressed the fuck out.
Yeah.
And so I can't remember who came up to me, but they were just like, "Hey, so are you cool if Plaguebringer plays on your stage? We had something come up, and they can't play out here anymore. Like after this band's done, we have to end this stage." And I was like, "Yep, let me go get my shit together, get everything set up, turn the computers back on, get the programs going, because I am not missing the opportunity to have this on the compilation."
Totally.
And here we go. It's amazing what has to happen last minute.
Yeah, but you made it work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's our job. That is our job when it comes to event promotion, running sound, anything. You can bitch, whine, and complain all you want. In the end, you have to get it done. You have to make it work. It's going to suck sometimes when shit doesn't go your way, but it's how you handle those situations and how you communicate with who you're working with in those situations that I find really matters. Because like, it was funny watching Jeff just on one hand, Jeff Bowery of Loud as Hell, wicked individual, had him emceeing for us at Alt Waves. But it was really funny having him watch me just run like a gazelle back and forth, getting that set up last minute, and be like, "How are you not like losing your mind right now?" And I'm turning about, I don't have fucking time to lose my mind on this shit. I needed to work and get this band on stage. I can panic and like go over all the bullshit that I'm processing right now after. What's important right now is getting that stage going.
Totally. I feel so bad every time I see you doing that, but I'm like, it's Nathaniel things. He's just doing his thing. It looks panicky, but it's like it's his urgent ways, you know.
Yep.
Like there's no changing that.
So, this needs to get fixed right now. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah. You take initiative with respect, you know, because you're not really working with any other hands. Because you probably like it that way too, right? You want things your way.
I would like having a hand, but the hard part is there's never enough time to go through everything. Like with Matt, and especially when he lived with me in Medicine Hat, it was easier because, you know, all the shit's there.
Yeah.
We're packing it up, leaving there, and that's why he kind of knows my process and he's always there to help up. But whenever anyone else is like, "Oh yeah, just bring me and I'll do it," I'm like, I mean, I could. I appreciate the help.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend the first 2 hours of setup instructing on things. We are already on a tight enough schedule with me having to drive 3 hours from Calgary to Medicine Hat when I do those shows, and having 3 or 4 hours to completely set everything up and have the band ready before doors open, because I would like to have everything done before that door opens and the first paying patrons come in, because there's nothing more unprofessional even in the underground scene. It might seem weird for others, but if you really think about it, when you are walking into a show, you want to see things ready to go. You don't want to watch everyone panicking, watching the stage getting figured out, watching bands like etching their crap out. You want to walk and be like, "Oh yeah, fucking half hour when that band starts, shit's gonna go fucking wild," instead of walking and being like, "Are we starting on time? Do I have to tell everyone, yeah, hey, don't bother showing up? Like, they're not going to be starting for another hour." And then the first band gets completely fucked with an audience because everyone's like, "I'll show up a bit late.
Yeah.
It's going to start late anyway, so fuck it."
And what happens? It usually does.
It usually does. What's been really nice is we've started on time almost every show. There's always something that happens. I think there was one show where I showed up an hour late because my storage unit that was supposed to be open for me to get into was not, so I drove there at 8 or 9 the previous night to grab my gear. Went, "Oh, I guess I can't do that, so now let's just add an additional 2 hours to my time tomorrow with packing everything up and getting the fuck out," and then having to go to Long McQuaid to get an additional cable.
Yeah.
There's it was still got there.
Yeah.
Show went off without a hitch. It went good.
Yeah.
The drives are a bit much, but fuck it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done worse. I used to drive from Medicine Hat to Edmonton for gigs and then drive home in the middle of a fucking blizzard immediately after.
Oh, yeah, rough. Ooh, the worst.
And yeah, to having a little fucking, like, a bank card or something because I don't have heat in the vehicle and I have frost going, like...
You had no heat in the vehicle?
Oh, God, no. Old beater vehicles back in the day, man.
Yeah.
So, like, a van with a busted heater. The SO I had at the time, would kick the heater for me once in a while, which got it going until it stopped going.
Right.
They got to a point where kicking it no longer solved the problem.
Of course.
So
The worst.
Oh yeah, those are good times. Honestly, guys, if you're thinking about playing in Canada and you're not from this country, be ready for some long drives, some cold drives, and just really shit visibility in the winter. We'd like to make fun of people that drive slow, but also at a certain point, you gotta.
Yeah. I don't mind the like out of town show once in a while in the winter, but like if I could have it my way, not tour Canada during the winter.
No,
like it's not ideal.
And it makes it like for those of us that do not actually do the music thing as underground artists, they those ones do not understand why big shows are so few and far between, or even tours are few and far between in this country. This is a shit country to play live music in, and I don't mean that in regards to the venues. We have some great venues, we have some great staff, we are very fortunate and lucky to have some of the things we have, but you are driving a minimum of 5 hours most of the time.
Yeah.
To get anywhere. If you're in Western Canada, cool. Like we can do the Edmonton, Red Deer, Lethbridge, Calgary, Medicine Hat circuit. Everything's within a few hours of each other if you book it properly. But then where you end, Calgary, Edmonton, Lethbridge, Medicine Hat, wherever you end, you got a minimum of 5 hours to get to either BC or Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
God forbid you have to go from Medicine Hat to Saskatoon, 8 hours.
A little easier in the States for sure, hey?
Yeah.
Well, you look at like on that Tama Hills tour, it was like we played La Portage or something like that in Manitoba, and then we stayed in Winnipeg, had a day off, but on that day off we had to leave in the afternoon because Ottawa was the next day, and Ottawa, from Winnipeg to Ottawa one way, 23 hours, but that's what map says, so that's no stops.
Yeah.
That's no food breaks, that's no bathroom breaks, that's no like gas fill, no
Yeah.
stop, right? So we missed that show.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, and that's the thing that's hard. Like any band that, like a lot of bands will go, especially young bands, will go for that cross Canada tour show, and they'll be so fucking excited, and it's like, oh fuck yeah, we're touring Canada, we're stoked, and then you'll get to the end of it and be like, that was not fucking worth it. Like nothing against all of you guys that we played for, but just like if we could have not had the additional 400 hours of travel, that would have been cool because fuel expense for one, and then again, if we're in the winter months, it gets fucking cold here.
Yeah.
And there is just a huge likelihood of someone getting sick because of that. And wow, can you imagine if you're from, I don't know, the West, and then you're all the way in Newfoundland and you get like, kiboshed with something like a really bad flu or something. It's like, cool, well, everyone, we're stuck. Everyone's going to get sick now unless we send you home or find you somewhere to stay for the next however long and figure shit out.
Yeah.
Like, I love Canada, but this is a very hard place to do the live music thing, which is why we really got to be thankful and respectful for what we do have and try to keep building those, because oh man, it's if we didn't have what we have now, we wouldn't have a chance.
Right. Yeah, I'm just going to always blame Ontario because it's just like that 90 zone on that highway, and it's just so
I'll just blame Saskatchewan and Manitoba. The fact that those two provinces are in the middle of everything, like, nothing against Saskatchewan or those from Saskatchewan, but
they have some fun venues.
It's quick to get across the northern side, I'm just saying.
That's true. I mean,
yeah.
Just got to go through some boreal forests. It's fine.
But it's with that
It's kind of boring too. It's very flat in some of those spots.
Once you get northern, it's very much like BC. It's very foresty.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Northern
Nice.
Saskatchewan, phenomenal.
Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
The north, especially like the Yorkton, Saskatoon, Bredenberry, like that high north
like
area.
4 hours north of that.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're not talking about Yorkton. You're talking about like it's another Battleford, not North Battleford.
It's North Battle. It's like 8 hours north of Regina.
Whew.
Yeah. But it's like there's.
Oh, you're talking about like that top
like
chunk.
There's camping communities out there. It's all forested. There's like a massive lake with great fishing.
I will say there are some nice lakes in Saskatchewan in general. There are some nice lakes.
Okay.
Northern Saskatchewan, highly recommend.
Nice.
But with that though, you understand why a lot of bands now like they want to go down south, and the only way to, in my opinion, and this is fucking expensive, which is why no one can really do it until you get to a certain level. The best bet is to like hit Western Canada, dip south, hit a few states to get over to the East End, pop back up, play that area, dip back down,
Yeah.
play across whatever states you haven't, return. But now we have work visas that we have to look into. You still have travel costs. You have to deal with being in America, which, you know what? Beautiful country. Don't want to, but just the climate of the country is something that I feel a lot of people would feel uneasy in, because we really have to pick what we say as out of country. As Canadians, we have very differing opinions to our American counterparts, and with how what's the word I'm looking for? Extreme everything has gotten on a global scale, and how much everything is like pushed at everyone and everything that's in the news. It's like going down there, I would have a lot of fun, but also biting my tongue would be something that would have to be done, because you don't know what your audience is going to be like. Here in Canada, you can gauge it. If you're in Alberta, I mean, bunch of people are going to be on a certain era, or you can get away with making certain jokes and just playing to it. You get to the States, it is a huge toss-up. And there's a lot of things that I feel we as Canadians, we may be aware of, but we don't truly understand on a cultural aspect. So it's cool seeing bands like Two Shadows go down there and just kick ass and actually make it work.
Yeah.
I hope I can see more bands do that, but there's so many things just on the financial end, and then culturally it's a different thing, but it's fun. Yeah, it is fun. I want to go down and play the States sometime. Shout out as well to BG at local band Smokeout, based in California. That is someone that hopefully one day I can get down and see and play a gig down there, because she's trying to do a festival there too. So
that'd be cool. It'll happen for you.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure.
Good guy.
Fuck yeah. The one I wanted to get into too is not band related. Your hoodie. Showcase that a little bit.
Octave Studios. Well, it's kind of band related. It's my studio / mixing mastering services. Started that in, I think 2015 is when I actually did the work to break it down. I can talk to my sister Mika, but she was down for the holiday that week or that year, and I think I just pulled out one of my small little notepads. Because for those of you that have been to my house and know me, I have notepads upon notepads upon notepads. There's always a small notepad somewhere, and then I have my big fucking notepads somewhere else. Those are for lyrics. The small ones, like all my small shit, whether it's mixed notes or just little, gotta do this, gotta do this, gotta do this, and I don't throw them out. So at some point I'll probably go back through and be like, hey. But I made like an entire price listing, being like live recording, band recording, services. I've been doing live shows with Black Dog Trauma and As a Vessel. Vannon ran BDT. He's the guy that got Colton Charette and I of Raising the Ruins involved in this. And then my bandmate Kevin from my second band, Illusion of Daylight, was doing a bunch of stuff. And actually, my white monitors were originally his that he had gotten. I bought them off him.
Oh, okay.
But just started really getting into it and be like, I can do this. This is fun. No one else is going to fucking do it. And nothing against people that were, but I felt there were a lot of people that didn't put the effort into it. They're like, yeah, we got a PA, we got a mixer. Just throw the show together. Fuck it. And I was very much no, I want you to sound good.
Earlier, before the podcast, I remember you mentioning you watched those videos of the bands you loved growing up, live video after live video, and you wanted to be that guy. 100%. You wanted to DIY it. You wanted to do the extra.
Oh, I
can appreciate that about you.
Before I got to All Waves this year, I went on a kick of listening to the Thrice Anthology live album and the Silverstein Decade of Decadence live album, because, man, there is something about the energy from a good live production that just makes you go, fuck yeah. Like, I love albums. I love producing. I love making nice recordings, but capturing a performance live off the floor and being like, oh, there is something here, getting some kind of audience response, even if it's only a few people or it only sounds like a few people because you're in a small venue, feeling that vibe and that air and everything going, even the slight mistakes, like you were talking about rim shots with Zach, like even those slight, they add some character to it. And I was like showing Zach and you like Jason Butler going buck wild randomly at shows, being like, yeah, I love this in every degree. There are things that annoy the hell out of me, as everyone else probably has something that does. But in the end, I love this. I love live entertainment. I love music. I love showmanship. Like, maybe it comes from my drama background. I'm not sure. But there's something about performance art that I fucking love. And I want to be able to help foster an environment for those to feel confident enough to come and take part in it, and also feel confident enough to come and witness it and be a part of the audience, because it's twofold. Without performers, we don't have a show. Without an audience, we don't have a show.
Yeah.
And you need both to make something happen. And
100%.
that's the other reason why I like doing these live compilations, and the live videos are the tips and tricks videos I did back in the day, just being like, for tips and tricks, bands, you can do better.
Mm-hmm.
Here are things you can do to be better. I'm not saying you're shit. I'm saying just look at yourselves and be like, where can we improve? Promoters, same fucking thing. Live sound techs, same fucking thing. Showgoers, same fucking thing.
Yeah.
There's like stage etiquette, floor etiquette, promoter etiquette. There's so many things. Like, I don't know if you heard, but there's a show with Amir, Memphis Mayfire, and Body Snatcher where they just left the venue because the security team was violent as fuck, like dragging people out by their throat and their hair.
Ooh.
After they had already kind of had a discussion about what is and isn't permitted at the show.
Right.
And the band just unanimously, the bands all went, this is not safe.
No, we're not.
We're not doing this. We're getting the fuck out. Well, everyone who participated, you're getting a refund, but we don't feel safe. We know you don't feel safe. We're not taking part in that. And that is huge, but making sure these environments exist where people can go and feel safe. Because I feel especially throughout the 2010s, maybe it started before I got into the scene, because when I got into the scene, there was a huge divide between like core and metal. You couldn't be in a core band and go to metal shows. You couldn't be in a metal band and go to core shows because core's pussy ass, fake ass metal, and metal's old boomer ass fucking music, and they're all fucking assholes anyway. It's like,
yeah. I was gonna say though, that still kind of exists.
It
like,
is.
There's like the scenes, like, you know, like you got your hardcore kids, and then you got your thrash metal guys with the battle vests.
Yeah.
Which is like fine. I kind of wish it would like expand a bit, because I feel like I don't go to them too often anymore. But I tried to push myself to go to like thrash metal shows and that. I have a battle vest stored away somewhere. If you can believe that.
I want to see
if
that
you can
someday.
believe that, yeah, I'll pull it out for you after and show you. Nice dark purple one. But just. I was trying to like get into the scene where it's like I want to like try and meet people and get them to come out to my shows, and I'll go out to your shows, right?
Yeah.
And it's hard now. It's like you can meet people and like be cool with them and that, but if there's like one discrepancy or there's like one thing, they're just very cliquey.
There is
and
fickleness to it. I feel like we're getting less and less though, because when I was in the scene, it was worse than that.
Yeah.
Hardcore scenes were against other hardcore scenes. I remember the Lethbridge scene intentionally came to the Medicine Hat shows just to fuck people up.
Oh shit.
Like it was a gang-esque mentality between certain subcultures and certain scenes, even within their own scenes. Like when you have the hardcore kids bitching out the thrash guys and the death metal guys and being like, cool, we only have 2 venues.
Yeah.
So what are we gonna do here?
All on a bill together.
Yeah, exactly. And
yeah.
Hardcore, death metal, thrash metal, just put it all in the same bill.
And that's what I started doing. And at first, a lot of people were like, what the fuck are you doing? And I was like, okay, well, guess what? Now I'm going to start throwing rap in there, too.
Yeah.
What? Watch the rappers enjoy what the fuck we're doing, and watch some of you really get taken away by the way some of these guys can fucking spit.
Totally.
And it's really cool. I like that, because it's all music.
Yeah.
Like, who gives a fuck if you play extreme thrash metal or progressive deathcore or melodic metalcore or old school throwback heavy metal? Like, fuck it. We all play heavy music with distorted tones and less than easy to swallow subject matter.
Mm-hmm.
We choose to talk about the things that are hard, the things that are difficult, whether it's through being straight in your face and telling you, I am depressed, I'm having a rough time, here's how I'm feeling, or going into an analytical aspect of allowing someone to look at lyrics or hear lyrics and maybe not get where the vocalist is coming from themselves, but being able to take something from it for themselves and being like, oh no, this is making me feel this and process this and going through all these different things. We all do the same shit.
Mm-hmm.
We've been this metal thing, this hardcore thing, it's been going for 40 fucking years now.
Right.
If we want to look at just like metal going back to the roots of like Sabbath, Rainbow, and everything there and everything that's come from it, even punk music, which was the true like bridge into hardcore, but we all do the same fucking shit. We all want this stuff to do well. We all have our demons. We all have our issues. We all need a way to get that shit out. What matters then is creating and fostering a community that allows us to do that and not feel shame for needing these outlets or for performing this music. Like, I'm glad we're past the point now where people shit on emo. Like
Yeah.
we are in the point where people are looking back on mid 2000s emo bands and being like, holy shit, they were really fucking good. Like, have you guys listened to 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge by My Chemical Romance? There are some fucking thrashy riffs on there. There are some heavy fucking things. Knowing that Pete Wentz, a Fall Out Boy, comes from the vegan hardcore scene in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
That's his roots. Like, it's funny seeing how much of hardcore and metal is just everywhere in contemporary music. And if we are able to get past that and just enjoy it, that's why things like alt waves exist. That's why it's called alternative waves. It's not a metal festival. It's not a punk festival. It's not a rock festival. It is an alternative music festival because that is what we do.
Yeah.
You're not going to hear us on the fucking radio, but you are going to find us. You are going to hear us wherever the fuck you want because we are in a streaming age. We don't need to rely on contemporary mainstream advertisements to get out there. And if you can make enough noise, it won't matter. They can't ignore you at a certain point.
Fair. That's fair. Oh.
That's why we have Bad Wolves back in the day, making it huge with 8-string low-tuned guitars. Doc Coyle, who for those may not know, was the original guitarist of God Forbid. Yeah, that's So like, right?
Going back a bit.
Right? Like that's like it's amazing watching these things happen and just being like, if we just stopped getting in our own fucking way, what could we do?
Yeah.
And I love seeing that more and more people are starting to adapt to that mentality because I think that's the only reason you're seeing Armstrong Metal Fest, Loud as Hell, Moments Fest, Serenade Fest, Alternative Waves, and these are just Alberta and one BC festival I've listed off. But we're seeing all of these go into 3rd, 4th, 5th, 10th plus years and still growing, still going hard.
Thank God.
Right?
Because you see the venues that sometimes, well, here in the city, like probably in Calgary, I guess now.
Yeah.
I keep assuming you're in Medicine Hat still. Just because how I know you,
right?
So
I was there for so long.
Oh, yeah.
And I still go back.
You're in Calgary now.
I'm so much closer.
But just seeing like how venues, like some of my favorite venues have just like shut down on White Ave or downtown, you know.
The old Deviate.
Yeah.
The old Deviate. Or there was one venue I played here. I can't remember what it was called, but it was a 2-band gig, Crepitus and Nuclear Oath. And it was one of those buildings where you walk up the stairs to the 2nd floor and it's a long fucking hall pub, and they would do different 2-band acts throughout the day. So like maybe from 3 to 6 is this alternative thing, and then at night they had Oath and Crepitus ending it off, and just that was so cool to come to Edmonton for my first time and see that and be like, we need more of this. And then a few years later being like, oh shit, never mind, we lost like half of that shit. Fuck.
Well, they have a sewing machine factory 3 blocks away from here, and last night was the last show.
The last show.
Yeah.
Fuck.
It sucks. And I'm like, are you serious? Like
Also, because like I couldn't go to it. Shout out to T and the All Was Lost crew. I hear that show was fucking killer. T has actually been a huge supporter of local band Smoke Out Canada for the past 4 or 5 months since he and I really started talking like alt waves this year and then going forward.
He's a big supporter.
He is solid dude, and I like that. Even though we have 2 different, very very different shows happening, you could have caught half of the audience at either one if it was just location based or time based. It just happens to be a case where 2 wicked events happened. They both had their draw. They both had their crowds, and we're not seeing bitching. Like I didn't hear a single fucking person bitch like, oh fuck, there's another show happening. Like fuck this shit. It's just like shit happens.
Yeah.
Like the fact that I could tell T, hey man, I want to see your show. I'm in town. Playing a different gig. Yeah. That sucks. He's like, dude, where the fuck are you playing? Put it in there. I'm like, man, this was 10 years ago. The promoter would be deleting my comment and being like, no, fuck you. We aren't even acknowledging that there's another show in this city. Yeah. So, again, there's a level of community I like seeing. Even though we are losing venues, the ones that are worth keeping, I find, are sticking around. And I'm not saying the ones that we've lost aren't ones that were worth keeping. There are so many factors that keep a venue running, past the staff, the ownership, the funds. There's so much, and it's good that we aren't losing everything. Yeah. We still have the Rendezvous. We still have in Edmonton the Rendezvous of Sewing Factory's done, unfortunately, but Starlight. Yeah. There's still the Starlight Room. What other venues are in the city? Actually,
we got Soho on White Ave here. There's the Buckingham, Black Bar, tavern for like punk bands.
Yeah.
And they'll play metalcore shows there too once in a while, but there's still a few that are around. So it's not like that. Yeah, it's not Ends World, but it just sucks in a way. It's like yeah, another one will open up probably eventually, and you know, it kind of like still goes full circle. It just for me, like it was right there. Like
yeah. Well, I think one other thing we need, and this comes down to just like us understanding we are aging. Like fuck, I'm 31 now. I started doing this shit when I was 18, which, oh man, I feel old stating that right now because I've spent 13 years. My career as a musician is now a teenager, guys. Oh shit.
Yeah.
But we need more all ages shit. We need places like Legion and Medicine Hat. Like that was the main place we went until they got scared of the hardcore kids.
That was an all ages venue.
That was so.
Yeah.
Factory was.
So I know that's what I mean. It's like when we lose those kind of ones. I think
Those are the ones that hurt.
The Aviary downtown.
Yeah.
That's an all ages venue, and like that's on the top of my head. Correct me if I'm wrong, somebody in the comments or something. But I think that's the only one in Edmonton that will do those constantly. So that's the one now. So Machine Factory's gone.
Oh, fuck. Well, at least you guys have one. I know that's the big issue for again alt waves is it's hard. There's VLTs in the venue, so we can't do all ages there.
Of course, yeah.
And there's literally fucking nowhere unless you want to go into basement shows. Which I'll be honest. I'm going to go on the record here. DIY, get your ass. Go. I want to see more basement shows. I want to see more garage shows. I want to see the DIY scene make it so that it is impossible for us not to have somewhere to go, because that is how we got it to begin with.
Yeah.
We had the punk scene that was unwilling to not be heard.
Yeah.
And I feel like regardless of what genre we play, we can look at what the punk DIY scene did and be like, oh yeah, no, we can do this. We can make something happen. And whether it's in a basement, garage, fuck it, find a power source out in a field and just throw a free show. I've seen some weird punk shows happen at like train stations out of nowhere. More of that. Like if we can't find places, create it.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy to see that is the mindset, but also we need that. We can't afford to not have the next generation be a part of what we're doing, because at a certain point we aren't going to be able to do this. We are going to need other people to take the reins and keep this going, because as much as we hate to say it, music is a young person's game. And I don't mean you have to be young to play. You need to attract young ears to have longevity. That's why bands like Bullet for My Valentine, if we're looking at really old metalcore bands, or any of the throwback bands that were on from when we were young that randomly came back.
I was just going to say, when we were all younger, we were jamming those bands. Like, well, bigger, but you could go to a local show if it had that chance, like, oh, it's an all-ages show. And, you know, like Edmonton used to have, you probably remember this one, the Avenue Theater.
Yeah. Fuck.
All ages skate park. There's nothing to, like, you know what I mean? So it's like, it just sucks when these kind of things like happen, because we want to get the youth into it, like you said, and get people inspired and get people into it. But
there's roadblocks.
There's roadblocks. Like they gotta wait till a certain age, and then maybe by that age they're not into it anymore, which is fine too. Actually, it's gonna make me backpedal to a question here soon.
No,
I got two for you. Well, one's more of a the drum video. I'm just gonna praise you. The drum video that you made me reminds me, you're gonna like this. When that album came out from Miss May I with I Hate Ye, I Hate Everybody. Yeah. Deathless. The drum video that they got for that live, the one you made me reminds me of that one. I don't know if you've ever seen that one. You probably have, but it's the angle and everything, and like I was like, this reminds me of that Miss May I, like I Hate Everyone drum playthrough live, and I fucking love it.
I'm really happy you do, and keep in mind, guys, because I saw some comments. Yes, I'm aware the mix is not done. Just so you are all aware.
The toms, that's what I've heard a lot of people. They're like, the toms aren't like, and I was like, well, for what it is, it's like, you know, it's pretty fucking decent.
Just so everyone knows, it's called a rough mix. I had so much footage and so many songs. The goal was like, I need to get a rough mix done so that I can sync this footage up, have it ready, so that when I get the final, I can just go and have everything edited, lined up, and be like, cool, I know where everything is. And also, a lot of people get in audio engineering, a lot of people get way too hung up on what they are working on. They can spend way too much time overcooking shit to a point where it sounds like crap. I would much rather get it to a point where, like, you know what, it's audible. I'm gonna come back to you in about a month when I'm done everything else and probably heard a few other things, and then clean it up from there. Especially if you're doing a 22 track live compilation. Like when he said I'm gonna post it, I'm like, Okay, yeah, like you can.
Yeah.
It's workable. It's definitely workable, but it's just also no, it's not the final.
Yeah, and I think that works in a way though, because it's like they heard that and just. I know I should have stated, like, wait till you hear the final. Like, it's going to be so much better.
Oh, but when the compilation drops and those videos drop, those that heard that one and then go back, they'll get it. And my goal with that content is literally just I want to provide bands with something. Like I said, I come from the old... When I was a kid, Warped Tour was fucking huge. Like, I got the Warped Tour 2006 compilation from my cousin. It only had disc 1, but you better believe it had Protest the Hero on that bitch. And I was just like, yeah. And then with all the live albums that I love listening to, like, there's something about that energy, and I want to, as dumb as it is, create my own version of that. Not so much in the festival, because I've handed that off to other people that I feel are far better suited to be promoters. Mm-hmm. After a decade of doing it, I realized I love doing the tech stuff. I love recording. I love mixing. I love mastering. I love being behind the board. I love performing. Promoting? Oh, God. Yeah. Organizing everything? Oh, fuck no.
No, that's a lot.
That's too much. I do not have enough mental bandwidth. I do not have a cloning machine to create a me delegated to that. Don't want to do that no more. That's why I stopped promoting and started doing like stuff for local band Smokeout for as long as I did. Mm-hmm. And as much as it sucks that I'm stopping to do that, I'm still going to find other ways to still figure it out again. The compilation, more live streams that are just focused on doing whatever the fuck works and promoting people. But yeah, that's the entire premise of stuff like that is I want to give the band something. If they feel like they like it and they want to throw me a few dollars, that's cool. Because yes, it is a lot of time and a lot of work. Like I said, I'm only halfway through my rough mixes right now, and finding time to do shit is a pain. Yeah. But the bands that appreciate it, and the bands that utilize, and the bands that share it, the bands like nothing makes me happier than to go to the compilation and find like a few of them are actually in the top 5 streamed for some of the bands, or were for a while, and be like, yes, love that. Yeah. And it also it's a better representation, I feel, of the bands in the moment, because I love productions, I love albums, I love going through that process. There is so much more spice that goes into making a full-scale production, and I love seeing how bands are able to pull that off when they're stripped of all of that. Yeah. When all you have is your backtrack, your click, and what's coming through your speakers, whether it's your Helix with the digital rig or you're actually going through an actual 212, 412, whatever combination you got. I love being able to take a live mix, and even though it might not sound as clean and pristine as the production of the album, the energy's there.
I seen one of your favorite people last night. I know it's kind of unrelated, but it goes to your mix. I seen Maddie from Vibes. Oh, he's clean up your act productions through that show last night.
Cool.
Lost. Yeah, so he was there, and yeah. Well, there's some hardcore bands playing too.
Oh, so yeah. Well, shout out to Vibes as well. Like I showed Zach some of the, like, I have a playlist and the compilations on there, and actually Twist in the Wind from the compilation came on, and like I personally like, there's a few things about the mix I don't like, but it's because a guitar mic got fucking kicked at some point, so it was facing the drum, so I had to do some dumbass EQ moves to be like, I don't like this guitar to come through. Oh no. Yeah. But there's again that energy, like hearing oh god, what's her name? The guitar female guitarist and vocalist in that in Vibes. I can't remember her name.
I don't know if she's in the band anymore.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, when she was with that performance, and I even pointed out to Zach, I'm like, listen to the grit and just the fucking angst that this little thing unleashes in this build-up. Like, it is, like, it might not be the most pristine capture, because I did a lot to like really push that vocal forward, because she had to share a mic with the bassist. Yeah. But like, you can feel that. You can feel that shrillness in the room, and just like getting ready for that beat down. Just
dude, my bassist loves sharing a microphone with you. It's so hard to say with a straight face.
Oh no, Kyle, I love you. I know you hate it every time I come on stage and take your microphone.
Yeah, he got over it. I don't even think it was that big a deal. I just love hearing about that, and I was like, oh, sharing a mic. Oh, you remember?
It was so fucking funny too, going up doing Vices and then just chilling, and then like singing along to and writing just on the floor, and then having Saban do the whole. Yeah. Get up there, and then Kyle doing the whole. No, it's mine. Yeah. It's like mine. I'm like, oh, don't worry, I'll bring it back to you. He told me to, man.
Yeah. Blame that asshole.
Yeah, blame the one with the toque.
yeah, exactly. Oh my god, that's funny. No, good times.
Yeah.
I'm getting sidetracked though. There's one question I really gotta ask you.
Do it.
Growing up, music, was it always like you mentioned that you played sports growing up. Was there maybe a direction that you wanted to continue with, like hockey or anything?
It was really interesting. So I was I played hockey for a long time. I played actually hockey in Calgary before things in my life happened, and then when I ended up in Medicine Hat, there was the one consistent thing I had. It was weird to say. It was like the one thing from my old life that I was able to still have, but I'm gonna level with everyone here. Hockey culture is fucking disgusting. I hated every second of it. The teammates, like, I have a few homies that I'm very close with because they were the only ones that had my back.
Okay.
Colton Charette, Keith the Coin, love you. Both of you were the only guys that actually no. There's a Anthony Anderson as well, and his dad Doug, who was a coach of mine. But vindictive, just when your own team is going at itself. And house league hockey, guys. We're not even fucking traveling unless we're going to a tournament. Like, no one's making the CHL. Like, no one's making the CHL, WHL, AHL. You're not even going to sniff the NHL. So, just feeling like just this breed of cockiness that comes, especially if like a AA or AAA player comes down to house league because they got cut finally. Like, there's so much vile shit in the culture, and I know a lot of people that are fans of it don't like hearing it, but it's the fucking truth. When I started playing basketball in high school, my God, that was the best team dynamic shift ever, because I went from having people on my team that I fought on a regular basis from center ice back to the locking room.
Oh yeah.
Like, there were a few points in time where, like, I was ready to take out teammates because you tell them something to be like, hey man, so here's something about me. Do not cross these lines. This is don't go there. Oh yeah, we definitely get that. 5 hours later, thanks for the ammunition.
Ooh.
And just being like, no, I'm not taking this. Versus in basketball, like, sure, high school kids are high school kids, but there was so much more camaraderie on that team. And there was actually a point where I kind of wanted to play college ball, but I was a bench player. Like, I understood, like, I would have to work extremely hard to get there. And I dabbled in guitar here and there. I was never really that good at, like, that point in time. Didn't even understand tunings. Like, I remember learning System of a Down and Standard and being like, why does this sound right? But yeah, it was weird. Once I left high school, went to college, went and saw Atreyu with Architects in Chiodos here in Edmonton at the venue that was at West Ed Mall.
Ed's Rec.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what year was that?
2010.
Prime time, Atreyu.
Congregation of the Damned. They were at their fucking peak, man.
Gallows.
Oh man. Oh,
and they Storm to Pass.
And they hit all the old shit too.
Did they?
They hit all the old shit.
Did they play Blow? Of course.
Oh, they can't. You can't not play Blow.
Yeah.
You can't not play Blow, especially Atreyu at that point where everyone's at their best. Alex was the best vocalist he could have ever fucking been.
The first song I heard from them was Blow.
Really?
And I know it's not like, because you think back to like the Crimson. It's not like that era. That's a great era. That's like one of the best. But Blow is still like, they didn't do the whole Avenged Sevenfold thing with, like, sorry people that this might offend, but like the sellout that they did.
No, they signed a record with Roadrunner, and Roadrunner was like, we're gonna push your vocalist to be as good as he can be. Like, a lot of people shit on Lead Sails and a Paper Anchor, but let's be honest, guys, the production is top notch.
Yeah.
The vocals are top notch, not just from Saller, who we already knew was.
Wait, was that not under Victory Records?
No,
still?
that was a Roadrunner Records album.
Interesting.
That is when they signed to Roadrunner.
Okay.
They did the. Okay, so there was Visions, Suicide Notes and Butterfly Kisses.
Yep.
The Curse.
Yeah.
A Death Grip on Yesterday.
Yeah.
And then they got signed to Roadrunner off of Death Grip on Yesterday for a record.
I see.
And then they went and did Congregation of the Damned.
Who was that with?
I believe that was the last Roadrunner record.
That was still with Roadrunner?
I think that was still with Roadrunner. I think they had, like, either that or they got dropped.
I need a fact checker here.
Either that or they got dropped down to, like, the subsidiary, because Roadrunner has subsidiary labels too. But I know Lead Sails was a Roadrunner record, and then they, like, kind of dropped down a bit after that. And then they did their whatever the one with the coffins was when they came back in 2014.
I stopped after that.
Yeah, that's they had a few songs on that I was okay with,
Okay.
but Atreyu now, and if any of them watch this, I mean, please do not take any disrespect to this. I'm not into the new lineup. Love the bassist, does not fill Alex's shoes the way I feel really hits, because Alex just had a way about his voice, both in his screams and after Let's Sales, his cleans.
Yeah.
Because my God, did we figure out Alex knew how to fucking sing on that record.
Right.
And then Saller, he's not drumming anymore. He's fronting as a clean vocalist.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's cool, but that was the draw for me with Brandon Saller.
Yeah.
Being like, you are killing it on drums.
Yeah.
And killing it on vocals at the same time. That's why I love Portnoy. That's why I loved the Rev.
Okay, yeah.
And just being like, these guys that are not only fucking great at the percussive element, but arguably are probably the better vocalists in their band at the same time. Like, it's
100%.
That's crazy. And once I left high school, did the congregation, like saw that Congregation of the Damned thing with my buddy Cesar, I was like, I can't. I know I'm going to school to be a teacher, a social studies PE teacher at that, but I think I'm a drop the fuck out and pursue music. Did that for a year. Bands fell apart. Some self-sabotage, some intentional sabotage from people that were brought in, which again, kids being vindictive kids.
Yeah.
Don't get it, whatever. We're well past that. And then going back to college immediately after that Warped Tour 2012 show.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was the goal. I was going to go to Warped Tour. I'm like, okay, cool. We're going to say goodbye to that part of me. We're just going to, like, I'll play music here and there.
Yeah.
And then leave Warped Tour being like, I think I'm making a mistake going back to school. Fuck it. We'll see what's up.
Yeah.
And then here we are. Oh my God, it's been 11 years.
Yeah, think about that for a second.
I'm old, guys.
Nah.
No, but no, like music wasn't always the thing. The main thing that it connects me to, and I've only told a few people to this, but my mother was a choir singer. And that is one of the few things I still know about her, because unfortunately, like, I was very young when she passed, so I don't have a lot of connection past that, but I knew she did a lot of dance, and I knew she did a lot of choir. And for some reason, that musical connection there has always been very important, being able to have that voicing and go into it. My sperm donor of a father also played guitar, and I actually had his guitar for a while, and then I sold it because this came into my possession. I didn't felt very awkward having her acoustic and his electric next to each other.
Yeah.
So I got rid of the electric. But it's kind of always been there, but it didn't feel like the thing I was drawn to until I left high school. And with that too, I got to reiterate, your path is never set. You might not know what the fuck your calling is or what you want to do until something happens and hits you in the face and makes you realize this is what it is. Like, I got into live music. I got into performing. Didn't think I'd get into recording, mixing, and all that shit. Like, my first few recordings were dog shit back in the day. Arguably, some of them still are, but, like, that's personal preference. And then just getting into live production, putting on shows because no one else could. And being like, fuck it. I got a board that I bought for my drum kit because I wanted to learn how to drum, and I need something with a lot of channels. And then just utilizing it, figuring it out, learning, and being like, oh shit, this is fun. I like making bands sound good. I like being able to finish a set and go up to bands and be like, hey, so how were things for you on stage? And hearing, dude, I haven't heard myself that good in forever. Like, I haven't been able to hear myself through a monitor mix like that in God knows how long. And me being like, yeah, you sound good out here too.
Yes.
So it's weird. I know it's a very roundabout way of answering that question and kind of touches on a few things, but yeah, I didn't know it was gonna be the calling. Like, I always fucked with guitar. I was never good at it. And then after high school, I just went, no, this is what I'm doing. Like,
you know what's funny too about how those two kind of relate? It's almost like still team work.
Very much.
It's almost a little more different too, because the way my band's put it before, it's like being in a relationship with 4 other members or 3 other whatever your band size is. You know, there's 5 of us, so 4 other people that I gotta work alongside, and you're a team, but you're also like, you're seeing them all the time and hanging out with them, being in tight spots, and then being in wide open areas and exploring. And it's like, it can be family, it can be a lot of animosity.
You're not going to get along with everyone all the time.
Yeah,
either.
exactly.
And no, and I actually, with a lot of my bands, I've brought it up instead. Like, I know what I'm going to say is going to sound really fucking odd, but this is what I take from my athletic background. Having to work on squads of a lineup of 5 people plus your fill-ins. And this is why I'm also very adamant on the idea of, like, bands. You need to know who your fill-ins are going to be.
Yeah.
You need to know who you can call on a dime to fill your slot if you're not able to do your job. That's why Swan last night on a dime.
Yeah.
filled in for Austin because we found out the night before that Austin was sick and Austin
Respect,
it.
Swan.
Huge respect.
Yeah.
You filling in on drums for us. Me doing bass for Hyloxilus, drums for Revanchist. How I got my gigs with Bowergoth and Caliber, just being like, I want to be someone that can help you until you find the guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going in intending to be the guy. If I become the guy, that's fucking cool. That's like a bench player finally getting to the starting lineup. But like,
but you can do it all. You have that skill with guitar. I know you don't do that one too often, but guitar.
Now I have to.
You have to now. Yeah, exactly. But like prior to like what I've known, like I know you were doing like the guitar work for No Hope for the Lost, right?
Yep.
Just not doing it live.
No, I started on guitar actually too. Like there was a
Okay.
point in time where I had like 8 or 9 guitars in my house.
Okay, this is what I mean then. You're doing it all. You do the drums, you do the guitars, the vocals.
Started in organ when I was in 4th grade.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it took 3 years of organ. When I fucking hate this, can we go into guitar and then put me into guitar? And here's what's funny: guitar lesson day landed on basketball game day.
Really?
So guess which one I picked?
Which one did you pick?
Basketball.
Yeah. That's what I mean. So like going back to your school days, did you ever really think that you would be where you're at now?
No, I
exactly.
was funny in like grad year where I was like playing a bit more guitar and I had a few friends that were no longer joking and actually trying to be like kind of supportive, be like, dude, no, like why don't you find people to jam with? And me being like, I'm not good enough for that shit. Everyone I'm running into that's actually taking this seriously is like really fucking good. Like I don't know if I can do it. Like my bandmate and best friend Cesar, like there was a lot of time. The reason I am a multi-instrumentalist is partially his fault because he was so fucking good at guitar.
Oh, okay.
Where I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna give up on that. I'm gonna learn drums. I'm gonna learn vocals. I'm gonna learn bass.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna learn shit. Fuck
Get
it.
the works.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. My first band, I had the drummer that auditioned. I was like, yeah, you're the drummer. I'm gonna learn bass. You know, but
you're way better than me.
yeah. Shout out to Tyler. He is so good. But still is super good. But yeah, it's funny that just like because I played basketball in high school too. So when you mentioned it, I was like, isn't it funny how those kind of sports and hockey and that like you get that. There's probably positives you took away from that because you had to work in a team environment, and now that you're with like a team, essentially, family,
it's
bandmates,
working with each other. Like in hockey, like it's harder to go back into because again, like it very much was like my line mate is the only line of support I have.
Yeah.
But in basketball, like we rely on each other all the fucking time. On the defensive end, we have to communicate so much. Like I was known as the loud one on my team because you heard me.
Yeah.
Wherever I fucking was, you heard me. I out louded the cheer squad if I was on the bench.
29!
Yeah, I got help side over here, help over here. Deny. No, you ain't getting the ball. No. Ball here, ball. And watching the priest on the ball be like, what the fuck? And I'm just like, yeah, give me that fucking thing. Give me the ball. I'm distracting you, motherfucker. Here we go. Boom.
Who are those guys who do the auctions? That's what you said.
Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah. Yeah, kind of. And
like straight up, man. That's what that sounded like.
Yeah, but especially with basketball too, the long days that we put into, like long practices, prepping, even the issues that would come of it. Like for my grad year, we actually had a grad ski trip that everyone agreed we were not going to because we had a tournament that weekend, except for one of our point guards.
Oh yeah.
And then every other point guard got injured over the weekend. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, fucking great. And so he came back, found out we had basically lost our offensive line for our point guards, and that we had someone else filling in, and that he had royally fucked the ball. And this is where I feel like everyone, please be aware when you need to take personal accountability for your actions and understanding that you have to do things to own up for that. What did he have to do? He ran for a week. He didn't participate in our practices. He ran. Because he needed to have us sign off on coming back. The coaches gave us the decision. Do you let him back in or not? And we said, yeah, we'll see. Make him run for the next week. Why? We lost 2 guys that are very crucial to our offense. And if he wants to come back, he can. He's just got to put in the work because I'm sorry, we didn't fuck off to enjoy a nice little ski trip. We were busy busting our balls off at a tournament and then covering for the guys that got hurt because they were taking his time.
Right.
So I feel like it showed accountability. It showed teamwork, team bonding, even get along with those that you may not get along with. And also a level of openness, because I'm sure you see this in bands too. You need to be open in your communication. You cannot let things fester on the inside, and also you cannot treat people as lesser within your project.
Right.
And if that does happen, you need to have someone who's willing to call that shit out and hold a quote unquote meeting and be like, all right, we are in a therapy session now, for lack of a better term, and we are hashing our shit out, because if we don't, this thing's going to dissolve.
Totally. Yep. Yep.
And
that's something we've had to work on.
I find every band does.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
You have 4 or 5 people in there. You're not all going to be on the same fucking page. You all have lives. Everyone ebbs and flows. One person could have a great day. The other person could have someone shot and not be like ready to mentally be able to deal with anything. I know that's an extreme, but I mean, the world we live in is a very chaotic place. Yeah. So being able to be understanding towards people and making it work, and even recognizing when maybe you yourself are going overboard. Like, I've done that so many times. Like, a lot of people I've played in bands with can vouch for a younger Nate being very headstrong and very persistent and combative and be like, no, this is how it happens. I'm not taking shit. We are doing it this way. If you don't like it, get the fuck out. And you know what? It doesn't really go that way.
Yeah.
That's not how it works. You can have a vision, you can have an idea, but unless you are actually capable of doing it all yourself, don't treat it like a solo project or like it's your own personal endeavor for fame and glory. You are having the opportunity and the privilege to write and create music with other peers and feel that emotional release if you did it properly, which I feel is the most important thing as musicians, on top of connecting with our audience. Feeling that emotional release and connection from what it is you're doing, whether you're the lyricist or not. Like, a bassist can feel fucking great playing a breakdown and feeling the vibe of a song and feel accomplished just as much as a drummer or a vocalist. There are so many things that go into making music that it's just interesting watching how the human aspect of it can strengthen it, but also hinder it if everyone involved isn't willing to communicate, which is, again, very important to anyone who is listening out there. That is the key thing. Communicating with your band members, your promoters, the bands you're playing with, like being able to have those conversations, whether it's you're having a bad day and you have to pull everyone aside and be like, hey guys, so I'm not the one to talk to today. Do not have people talk to me. I know I'm not in the headspace for this. I'm going to get through the show, but if you guys can, like, actually in a relationship, this is a weird one. I know I'm kind of skipping off and off here, but relationship advice, the idea of, like, things are never 50-50. If you're with someone, going up some, being like, hey, I'm tired, I have 30% to give today, can you pull that other 70? Same thing in a band, except the beauty is the more people you have, the more support you have. You don't need to be the one giving 100% all the time, because you have 3 to 5 other people that can help carry that emotional weight if you let them. And that, I feel, is the biggest thing for musicians, is we really don't let others really know where we're at. Musically, we might. Like, when we write as lyricists, maybe we will, but when it comes down to everyday things, I feel we're not as honest with our bandmates as we need to be. Yeah. And we're getting to a better point with that. But it's also why we have bands that have longevity of multitudes of decades with the same members, right? Which I think is huge. Like, we shit on Metallica all the time, but Some Kind of Monster is really fucking eye-opening if you go into that with the perception of what happens when you have 4 human beings that spent decades not dealing with their shit. What happens? We see what happens. We see someone have to go into AA and figure out their alcoholism. We see someone realizing their ego is so far out of whack that they are hindering everything. You see a member having to leave completely because, like, hey, guys, I get it. Like, I'm not the guy who died, but I've been here for 12 fucking years and you still treat me like a scrub.
That Metallica one, did they make a DVD for that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's the one where the meme comes from, where it's like you're trying to teach your friend guitar and like da 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 da, and the guy's like dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, like a lot of people rag on Kirk Hammett for that one, but I feel like don't go into it trying to watch the making of Saint Anger. Go into it watching, like, this is what happens when you don't deal with the problems. Like in the case of Metallica, they lost Cliff. That was huge. They didn't deal with that for 14 years.
That's crazy.
And that we watched that implosion of what happens when you choose not to deal with your emotional trauma and your emotional baggage. And I'm glad we are getting to a better point now. But I feel like there's so much. There's so much that goes into music. And as bandmates, we need to be better support structures and recognize when we can and can't be, and again, that communication is really key.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't have that, I mean, you have instances where things just fall apart and you see really cool projects fall to the wayside.
Which sucks.
It does. Or you see really good musicians and creative minds leave. And I don't mean like leave bands. I mean leave our plane of existence, which is not something I think any of us like having to deal with.
No.
So, yeah.
Can you believe that you've like pretty much just like killed an hour?
No fucking way.
Pretty damn close.
No fucking way. No,
Yeah.
holy shit. It feels like it's been 20 minutes.
I know. Oh, the way you went into some of those rants.
Hey guys, if you don't know, like I'm used to live streaming for like 3 to 6 hours at a time, so
Yeah.
I can just fucking go.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is like I'm not used to that environment, so just seeing like I was like periodically checking and I'm like, wow, this is crazy how fast this is going. You're just talking away. It's
hey man, it's fun.
like Zach, you're informative, so it works.
I was gonna say, I thought my ranting was taking a while. I was like, I left and came back. It was 20 minutes, and you were on the same damn topic.
That's what I mean. It's just like it's going like. But
for
it
those
works.
that got through it, I appreciate you taking the time to listen to my ramblings. I feel like I've gotten better at least making points as I go in my circles, but
Yeah.
You managed to tie two completely unrelated topics together cohesively,
Yeah.
consistently. Like that's the most impressive part.
That works.
oh, thank you.
That works. There you go. See, some good feedback. Everyone else watching it, this sucks. This guy went on.
Dude,
No, I'm
fuck
just
that,
kidding.
fuck that Nate guy.
Where did basketball come from?
Yeah.
Why are we talking about the toxicity of hockey culture?
The fuck is Octave Studios? Yeah, exactly.
Oh fuck.
That's so funny. Well, okay. Well, on that lovely note, I'll let you finish with two things here.
Okay.
Anything else you want to bring up, and then your socials.
Okay. I guess I have to bring up is just love each other, guys. Like, if you know me outside of this interview, you know I have had less than good luck with either relationships, family bullshit. We need to love each other. Like, there's a reason why the people that I have had maybe bad times with are still in my good books, are still people I can talk to and can still reach out to me. And that's because even when we hit our times of fuck you, we are able to get back to an even playing field and communicate with each other and understand we are still there for each other. It might not be the same magnitude of which we were at previous times, but that does not mean that we are still not capable of being these people for each other. And this goes past your bandmates. This goes past your local promoters. We can do this for just random fucking people whenever we see them. Go to a show, enjoy it. If you have any insight that you can give someone, find a way to pull them aside and talk to them and let them know what you liked about what they did. And then feel free to just try to give them advice if it seems like they're going to be willing to take it. Show that you are willing to be helpful and not just in a I just want to give things, but showing that like I can give you something without wanting to take anything from you and just let you know that that structure is there. I'm not going to say my DMs are always open because I am very bad for not responding to people. Sometimes things get buried. I'm very busy, but when you are able to reach out to people, talk to people, voice message, video call, text message, whatever, be there for those that are around you. We have lost too many fucking people this year alone, not including all the years prior to this year. We want to see the scene grow, and the main way it's going to do that is by instilling community. If we don't instill proper community across all of our scenes, we may as well just eat our own fucking tails.
Oh, well said. There
Thank you.
Go. Mic drop.
Boom.
No, before you do that, your
Yeah.
socials.
For socials, well, if you want to get a hold of me for mixing, mastering stuff, you can find me at octavestudios.ca. I have some examples of work. I do have to revamp the site, but I have a little form you can fill out. Find me on Facebook or Instagram, same thing. If you just want to talk to me, Nathaniel Blaine Bonnet on Facebook or No Hope for the Nate on Instagram. If you want to check out No Hope for the Lost, No Hope for the Lost has an Instagram, NHTFL. You can find us on all music platforms. If you want to check out Caliber because you're into thrash music, Crimson Caliber Thrash Official, or just Crimson Caliber. Solid band. With one thing we didn't get to dive into with that band is I actually produced their first two EPs, and Swan actually got into that band because I did the whole like you need to go fucking playing a thrash band. You're diddling and just doing all this shit on bass, and you really just want to shred.
Yeah.
There's a thrash band that needs a shredder. Go join them.
Get into that.
Yeah,
band
get into
now.
that.
Yeah.
And for Caliber That, for Bowergoth Official, Jesse, TJ, and Chris are fucking solid fucking individuals. I am extremely fortunate to have been reached out to be a part of the project, and they're a lot of fucking fun. For the other band, if you want to know about the other band when that gets announced, just send me a message, or you'll see things maybe. Depending on when this comes out, maybe there'll be an announcement. I don't know. I don't want to overstep my bounds on that one before a conversation's been had. And then lastly, depending on when this comes out, even if I'm no longer the host, go follow local band Smokeout Canada, because my last show hosting is going to be on the 14th, and then just not enough fucking time.
Yeah,
it's really just not enough time. I love doing promotion, but I need to. If I'm going to live stream, I'm going to do it differently: gaming, practicing, hanging out. But having it every Tuesday and having to make that time is very difficult. So, if you guys want to, No Hope for the Nate on Twitch, local band Smokeout Canada on Instagram and Facebook, and then also look up the OG local band Smokeout. They're based out of LA. BG is a fucking awesome individual. If you're in the Australia area, there's local band Smokeout Australia. I believe local band Smokeout UK is just starting up as well. So just give all these guys some shout outs, some support, some likes. Go check them out. These all exist just to give us a platform in some way, shape, or form. Mm-hmm. And the more that we can get involved with each other and moving things forward, the better.
Nathaniel, thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is Apureevil Presents, and now we're at the house.